Welcome to the final tutorial for the polymer clay pendants. In this tutorial, we're basically going to attach the embellishments for the chain off of the chandelier components. So we'll go ahead and take these jump rings and add a few more. As you can see, I have the embellishment here already created, but I'll show you how to make one in just a moment. This particular embellishment uses little gold daisies, jump rings, and a kind of fuchsia colored miracle bead, which you can find at most craft stores or just about any online store. So you're just going to go ahead and make a loop with a head pin or a piece of wire. Use a thicker gauge though if you just use wire, just so it stays straight. Then you'll cut off the end. Go ahead and slip your daisies on first, and then your bead, and then the last daisy, and then you'll make another loop with your pliers. And the reason we're doing two loops is just so you can attach one to the jump ring and the other to the length of chain that you cut earlier in the previous tutorial. So you'll go ahead and cut off the end and use the rounded pliers or the bent pliers, whatever way is easiest, and just sort of bend the loop back in on itself. Just like that. Now we'll go ahead and attach these with some jump rings. Just open these up. Attach one of the embellishments to the right side and close it. And then we'll go ahead and do the same with the left. Just want to make sure that you really close them well so that they don't slip or break. Sometimes it's easier to use your hands instead of two pliers, but whatever's most comfortable for you. Next, we'll go ahead and add the length of chain. You can use a jump ring, or you can open up the chain links themselves and attach it. In this particular instance, just because of the design, I'm going to use another jump ring. I want to sort of have this consistent look across the entire necklace, so we'll just go ahead and add another jump ring here and attach this length of chain. And we'll do the same for the other side. Something that I do too is I go ahead and just measure the full amount of chain that I want. In this circumstance I used, I believe, 16 inches. So I'll half the chain and then add a jump ring at the halfway mark. That way I know exactly where our clasp is going to need to go. You can also just measure it out and open the chain links, or just measure, if you're using 12, 6 and 6, or longer, 8 and 8. But I just do it this way, it's just easier for me, so I only have to measure once instead of twice. And go ahead and attach that jump ring and close it off. And then we just open the link here on the other end, and we'll have the exact even amount of chain on both sides. Now, depending on the type of clasp you're using, you also want to bear in mind, if you're trying to get a necklace that's exactly 16 inches or 12 inches or whatever size you're working with, you need to take into consideration the type of clasp you use. Toggle clasps tend to take more length, so you want to make sure that you sort of account for that as well. Go ahead and close the chain links. After you've added your jump ring there, and make sure your jump ring is closed as well. We'll go ahead and add an extra jump ring on the end. Now jump rings are things that you can make as well. You just basically can take some wire and you can solder it, or you can just bend it to make the size you want. A lot of times though, it's just as easy just to buy because they tend to be very cheap. And we're going to go ahead and attach this to the toggle clasp and the chain. And then just close that. And we'll do the same for the other side. We'll actually put the bar here on the toggle clasp on the jump ring. And there's our finished pendant. Go ahead and close it and make sure that the toggle clasp works correctly, which it does. Check all your loops. As you can see here, a bit of chain link came off, so we want to go ahead and reattach that. That's why you want to double check and make sure everything's closed really well, especially when you're working with a lot of metal and chain. And just go over your design, just lay it out and kind of take a look, and there's our finalized pendant with the chandelier components. And test our clasp one more time just to make sure that it fits really well. And we'll lay it out flat. And the next thing we're going to do is go over with it one more time with triple thick. So we're just going to take the lid really, because we don't need a lot, and just lightly brush over after we've kind of made sure that there's no dust or sand residue on here. And we're just going to brush it over one more time, being careful not to get it on anything but the actual polymer clay portion. Kind of work around the cogs because we don't want to cover them with it. Just kind of get that finalized seal, and then we'll let that dry 24 hours and do the same for the back. But the end result's really nice, so we'll just touch it up a little bit here and there. Make sure we have that nice glaze finish. We hope you enjoyed this series of tutorials and look forward to more tutorials on our channel, and thanks for watching, and please subscribe. Thank you.